Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're taking a cinematic tour through the absolute most awe-inspiring, complex piece of machinery in existence. Yup, we're talking about your own body. You know, we often walk around completely oblivious to the stunning symphony of biological systems constantly working in the background, just to allow us to move, think, feel, and simply exist. Well, today, we're going to change that.
Seriously, think about what is happening inside your body right this very second. Just while you're sitting there, looking at a screen, your heart is pumping gallons of blood, your neurons are firing off millions of electrical impulses, and your cells are quietly repairing themselves. It's kind of like a non-stop, brilliantly orchestrated documentary happening right under your skin.
To truly grasp the staggering scale of your biology, just consider this. During your development, you once had a single cell that was actually larger than a bedsheet. I know, it sounds like pure science fiction, but it's an absolute biological fact. Your body is built on these incredible extremes, from the totally microscopic to the massive, and it's all working together in perfect harmony.
Okay, let's dive into our first major system, the engine of life, which is your heart and blood networks. Without this relentless pump and its vast network of highways, honestly, none of your other organs could survive for more than a few minutes.
Think of your cardiovascular plumbing like a massive, high-speed transit system. Your arteries act as these high-pressure outbound highways, delivering fresh, vital supplies. Meanwhile, your veins are serving as the inbound lanes, shuttling all the waste products right back to base. And your heart, it isn't just a simple squeeze. It's actually a brilliant double pump. First, the right side of your heart takes in oxygen-poor blood and shoots it directly over to your lungs to grab a fresh breath of oxygen. Then that newly oxygen-rich blood returns to the left side of your heart, which forcefully drives it out to the rest of your waiting cells. It's just this incredibly elegant, continuous loop. But here's the catch. None of this looping architecture works without hemoglobin. Think of hemoglobin as a tiny molecular fairy packed inside your red blood cells. It's continuously trading carbon dioxide for life-giving oxygen in your lungs, and then reversing that trade out in your tissues. Without it, your blood would basically be a fleet of delivery trucks with no drivers.
Next up, we travel from the engine room straight up to the command center, the profoundly intricate human brain. This is where your biology essentially becomes you. It's the central processor coordinating every single breath and thought you've ever had.
Your nervous system is beautifully divided into two main teams. You've got the autonomic system, which handles involuntary actions like breathing or digestion. You don't have to consciously remind your heart to beat, right? Your autonomic system has it covered. Meanwhile, your somatic system is what lets you actively reach out and, say, grab a cup of coffee.
Zooming all the way into the microscopic level, how does a thought actually happen? Well, it's born across a tiny chasm called the neural synapse. When an electrical signal hits the end of a neuron, it triggers the release of neurotransmitters. These chemicals float across a tiny gap and lock right into receptors on the next cell. This lightning-fast relay race is literally the foundation of every memory you hold and every movement you make.
But neurons don't do it all alone. In fact, recent science points out that glia are your brain's most mysterious cells. We're finding out they act as the brain's unseen caretakers. They aren't just biological glue, they actually shape how our synaptic connections are formed. This means they directly influence how we learn and remember things. We are just scratching the surface of how profoundly important they are.
Stepping away from the command center, let's examine the mechanics of human movement. Your bones, muscles, tendons, and cartilage act as this incredible structural framework, a system of pulleys, that translates brain signals into sheer physical force.
Now, you might be thinking your bones are just static scaffolding. Actually, scratch that. They are living, dynamic tissues constantly remodeling themselves. This happens through a microscopic network called the Haversian system. There are tiny tubes inside your bones housing blood vessels and nerves, allowing your bone cells to constantly break down old material and build up new, stronger bone in response to the physical stress of your daily life.
And anytime you move, whether you're taking a step, lifting an arm, or even just blinking, it is entirely thanks to actin and myosin. These are microscopic proteins living inside your muscle fibers. When your brain sends a somatic signal, these proteins physically grab onto and slide past each other, shortening the muscle to create a contraction. Millions of these tiny guys working together generate the force you need to lift heavy weights or sprint across a field.
So, what does this mean for the future of our joints? Well, researchers are realizing that unwrapping the secrets of a novel cartilage cell could inform massive breakthroughs in regenerative medicine.
Imagine a world where we can help our bodies naturally reverse wear and tear on this complex physical framework. It's a real game changer.
Of course, a machine this complex needs a serious defense system. Enter the immune system shield. This is your body's personal, highly adaptable military that constantly patrols your blood and tissues, brilliantly distinguishing your own cells from foreign invaders like viruses and bacteria.
Over time, medical science has developed remarkable ways to train these shields. Traditional live attenuated vaccines introduce a weakened version of a virus so your body can practice fighting it. But modern mRNA vaccines, they take a totally different approach. They just deliver a genetic instruction manual. They teach your cells to safely build a harmless piece of a virus so your immune system can recognize and destroy the real thing if it ever actually shows up.
Okay, let's dive into the final frontier of our explainer, the future of human health. We are standing right on the precipice of a medical revolution, shifting from just treating diseases after they happen to predicting and preventing them entirely.
We're entering an era of unprecedented prediction. For instance, researchers are now identifying blood-based biomarkers to foresee devastating diseases like ALS before symptoms even emerge. On top of that, massive cloud computing ecosystems, like the NIH's Biodata Catalyst, are allowing scientists to crunch mountains of data to tackle complex conditions like asthma, sickle cell disease, and long COVID. Data is literally becoming our most powerful medicine.
If you look at the timeline of human health, it's wild. We went from the very first basic vaccines in 1796 to relying on AI and enormous biological databases today. And looking forward, the trajectory points straight toward ultra-precise genetic editing. The tools being developed to succeed CRISPR promise to be world-changing, allowing us to rewrite the very software of life with astonishing accuracy.
So, I'll leave you with this final provocative thought to ponder. As we master the very DNA that builds our interconnected machine, as we learn to regenerate cartilage, predict disease from a single drop of blood, and rewrite our own genetic code, what is the next stage of human evolution going to look like? Will we even be the same machines we are today a century from now? Keep exploring the amazing science within you, and we'll see you next time.